Raw kicked off this week, folks, with an incredible recap promo of what's been happening over the last couple of weeks between Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Jey Uso, and the like. And this took us straight into our first promo of Logan Paul coming on out and, well, just trying to do the dirty on main event heavyweight champion Jey Uso. The crowd were against him the entire time, which is still funny, and I don't think crowds will ever take to him just because of what he is and who he is. However, through this promo, we did have Gunther come on out, and he actually built Paul up first, talking about he's a social media megastar, maybe you could help me with my social media, and then he just started breaking him down, which was absolutely brilliant. He told him that wrestling is just a business to you, but to me, losing the championship, losing to Jey Uso, that's personal. This company and this business is personal to me, which you gotta admit is actually very factual. For Logan Paul, this is just another way he can just get his brands out there, make more money for himself, and it wouldn't surprise me if in a year or two he's like, yeah, bye-bye, and just shoots off. But with Gunther though, he's here for the long haul. He's done this his entire life, and it shows because the guy is one of the greatest in-ring technical wrestlers ever. But with this though, this is something that Gunther said which I actually took a quite amazing liking to, and that's when he said about, ask Pat McAfee how I deal with getting disrespected by non-wrestlers. Obviously with this, saying that Logan Paul is a non-wrestler, he's here for one or two, things, and then he goes out of his match, disappears or whatever. But with this one, it was such a great line. And as Gunther was leaving the ring, Logan Paul did what Logan Paul always do, and that is, he tried to badmouth Gunther, and it didn't really work. Gunther just turned around, smiled, and obviously Logan Paul turned around and he ate one hell of a super kick by Jey Uso, which actually cut Logan Paul's mouth open, which was actually great to see as well. But with this, so it was a great opening. It moved everything along, especially with this Saturday being Logan Paul against main event Jey Uso for the heavyweight championship on Saturday night main event, which in the UK or in other places around the world, which are not America, it is being streamed on YouTube, which is great for all of us. But if you're in America, it's being streamed on Peacock and NBC. But as I said, going forward, great opener, and let's just see what the rest of the show has. After this, folks, before we actually got into our first match of the evening, we saw that Roxanne Perez is now an official member of the roster for Monday Night Raw. It's kind of sad because we did have Julia on Friday saying that she is now an official member of SmackDown, so they kind of ripped this team apart, which kind of sucks because as a tag team, they were incredible, and it looked like they were tagging for years, even though they haven't. They just kind of meshed together. But overall, I'm glad to see that Roxanne Perez is now an official member on Monday Night Raw. She is on the main roster where she belongs. Then after that announcement, we went straight into our first match of the evening, and for me, it was match of the show. AJ Styles teaming with Penta, taking on Judgment Day members Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Obviously, this was a 5-star match in my eyes. It was absolutely brilliant. The way that AJ Styles and Penta meshed together so well, it's like they've been a tag team for years. Again, going back to the Roxanne Perez and Julia kind of thing, where you just put these two together and they just meshed. Everything they did was like, right, okay, do this. Oh, I got you. We'll go in with this. And it was so good. Obviously, Finn Balor, JD, both phenomenal talents. When you put these four together, they would literally have to make it a bad match by on purpose fumbling things. But that's not what we got. We got some great spots, and we even got AJ Styles, who just seemed to be on another level last night. It was almost like watching AJ Styles from 2010 TNA. That's how good he was in this match. But again, no, sadly, Grande Americano got involved and he cost Penta and AJ Styles the win. Moving forward, we are going to be getting Penta and more than likely his brother Ray Phoenix taking on Grande Americano and Chad Gable, or so they're going to have someone else in the mask and they're going to be like a tag team. We could see that happening. But we also got AJ Styles still going to go after Dominic Mysterio for the IC Championship, which was interesting because second week in a row now when the Judgment Day has had a match, Dominic Mysterio was not at ringside. Make of that what you will. We rolled straight into our women's qualifying match for the Money in the Bank ladder match later next month, and we had Becky Lynch taking on Roxanne Perez and Natalya. Well, folks, we were 2 for 2 of great matches on Raw last night. These three women went all out, and it was just absolutely incredible to watch them all work. Seeing Roxanne as well now in the main roster properly, and seeing how Becky Lynch was trying to, Roxanne, me and you work together to take out Natalya, and again, didn't work, but it was always great to see that the mind of the heel in Becky Lynch is always working. Let's work together, we can take her out and I can screw you over and I can take you out, and it was just fun to see. There was so many great spots in this. We had numerous of Natalya trying to get the double sharpshooter on, which she did, as you can see in this image by here. First of all, she tried putting Roxanne on top of Becky Lynch, trying to get a double sharpshooter that way, which didn't really work, obviously. But with all of this, Becky Lynch almost got the win. When she done the manhandle Sam, she went for the pin, and out of nowhere, Lyra Valkyria came out and cost Becky Lynch the match, which was brilliant. As those two are brawling up towards the backstage area, Roxanne Perez hit the finisher, and she actually now facing Alexa Bliss and another person later on in this show who is qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match. With this, I absolutely love that Roxanne is now on the main stage. We got Becky Lynch, who is going to be taking on Lyra Valkyria, more than likely at Money in the Bank. But Natalya, this is a woman who, she needs to be in a program with anyone because she is one of the best to ever do it. And I think they are losing a lot of good matches just by not her being backstage or backstage segments and one-off matches like this. Next up, we had Sheamus taking on Grayson Waller, which is only a few weeks after Grayson Waller suckered Austin Theory into taking his place against Sheamus in a match. Well, this match didn't disappoint in the laughter 100%. As you can see just by this image by here, whenever Austin was near Grayson Waller, who was getting his ass kicked, he would just either do this face or he'd just be trying to hide his laughing and smirking. It was so good. It is a shame though, because with this now we are obviously seeing the downfall and we're just waiting for the inevitable breakup between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. But these two, they've been a great comedy act, and seeing that Sheamus is one of the people who just keeps putting on banger after banger, which he does, this match was actually very, very entertaining, and we are 3 for 3 in having great matches on this Raw. Waller did actually put up a decent fight, but we all know this was just going to be Sheamus beating him down, which is exactly what happened. Theory actually stopped Waller from taking the easy way out and getting counted out, and he got kicked into oblivion by Sheamus, who got the win. Great fun match, but obviously now next couple of weeks we will be seeing Austin Theory and Grayson Waller probably feuding and just breaking up, and I think that's going to be the best for both of them. We then went into our third Money in the Bank qualifying match, and with this, sadly, it didn't go as planned. We had Rhea Ripley taking on Sane and also taking on Zoe Stark, who sadly injured herself just almost about a minute or two after the bell rang. And it sucks because when you see what she did and the way she landed, it was almost like she landed like this, but her knee was like that. It just curled out one way, which is a way your knee is not meant to bend. And I really do hope that it's nothing serious, but more than likely we're going to see that she probably tore her ACL, LCL, and MCL, and all the other ligaments in the knee, which sucks because that is going to take her out for a long time. Obviously, due to this, the match was done on the fly and improvised because you could just tell As soon as the doctors came into the ring, you could just see Rhea and Singh, they were like looking at each other, looking at the ref, and you know, they were trying to think of what they could do. And for a match that was literally called on the fly as this one was, it was a great match. But again, no, when you got these people in the ring, when you got Sane in there, when you got Rhea Ripley, they're always going to put on something spectacular and be like, right, okay, we got to do this, just call it on the fly and let's go. And that's exactly what they did. Rhea Ripley actually did get the win, and she is joining Roxanne Perez and Alexa Bliss, taking on the Money in the Bank ladder match, which more than likely we will either see Roxanne Perez or Rhea Ripley win. That's what I can see happening there. Before we got into the main event, if you can cast your minds back, I think it was last week or the week before, we actually saw Finn Balor in the background talking with Roxanne Perez. And as you can see right by here, Finn Balor is actually introducing Roxanne to the rest of the Judgment Day. Now with this, you could see that, Raquel, Dom, they are a little bit cheesed off with this, but they're like, I think Liv should have been told. She should have been in on what's happening, because we don't want someone else in the Judgment Day. But Finn was like, no. If anything happens, she's just here for moral support. She's helping out. If we need backup, she is there. And he brought up, he goes, if one of us, and he pointed to Carlito, Dom, and JD, he's like, if we have a match, we got each other to back up. But when Liv and Raquel go out there, they have no one. But now they have someone. And what made this even funnier, Roxanne was like, oh, I brought gifts for people. She brought a box of chicken nuggies for Dominic, and obviously Carlito, what'd you get me? She handed him a bag of apples, which was absolutely funny as hell, and they were like, Jingo, leave. And going forward, it wouldn't surprise me if Finn, possibly JD, break off from the Judgment Day and align with Roxanne Perez, and they have their own little stable against the other Judgment Day. I think that's the way they're going, basically how Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest kind of went their separate ways without them. It's going to turn into something like that. Now we moved into the main event of the show, folks, and that was Bron Breakker taking on World Heavyweight Champion, main event, Jey Uso. The match went exactly how we all thought it was, which was basically just Bron Breakker beating up Jey and basically just showing his power and what he can do to him. The Heavyweight Championship was not on the line, because that was actually something that Paul Heyman said that he actually negotiated for, because it's not about the belt. It's about showing Jey Uso who has the power in this match. And that's exactly what happened. And obviously the match did become a back and forth affair later on, with both guys getting in some great offense. But at the start though, Bron Breakker just ruled. If Jey Uso showed any sign of getting a bit of momentum, Bron Breakker would just knock it down. But obviously for this though, it did become a 2-on-1 affair, as Seth Rollins interfered and got Bron Breakker disqualified, which obviously makes Jey Uso winner by disqualification. But all this is going on, you did have Sami Zayn then run in to help Jey Uso, because it was 2-on-2 then. But then as Jey Uso was on the outside, they just started beating up Sami Zayn in the middle of the ring. And CM Punk came on out to help. Then it was those two on those two, which was a great little segue into Saturday Night Main Event, where we got CM Punk teaming with Sami Zayn, taking on Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker. I think it's going to be a good tag match. I think it'll probably be one of the longer matches on the card. But with this though, before the show actually ended, Jey Uso got in the ring, handed the belt, raised it up, and obviously he turned around and he was sucker punched by Logan Paul as the show went off the air. Overall, Raw was actually a really, really good show this week. It seems to be a lot different than SmackDown. With SmackDown, they tend to go on a little bit longer with segments and talking and little promo interviews and stuff. But with this though, sadly, we did see Zoe Stark get legitimately injured, and that sucks. I really do hope she gets better soon and she hasn't done anything majorly in her knee. But with this though, I gave the show a solid 8.3 out of 10, and I'm really, really looking forward to Saturday Night Main Event. If you are new, guys, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.